What's going on, YouTube? In today's video, we're continuing the free masterclass from my French brother, Jay. Lots of people been asking about the BY matchup into Zoro and how to handle it. And so we've got Jay here today to explain what you'll be wanting to do and look for in this matchup. My camera was having some issues that day, and so you won't be seeing me live, but the audio should be all good to go. I hope that y'all enjoy the video, and let's get right into it.
Okay, so yeah, you guys will be able to see here how BY handles the speed of Zoro. So let's take it away, Jay.
All right. And this game specifically is gonna show a lot of points that I was talking about like in previous videos or even on stream that we already talk about, like the searches, for example, and stuff like that, okay? All right. So here I'm playing against a friend. Okay, let's see. Okay. So
Linda's gonna be like, this isn't me playing the Zoro though. Just because you beat this Zoro doesn't mean it's not me.
I mean, Zoro can still beat BY, but I still feel like it is really hard for Zoro to beat BY. So he chose to go first just because we were taking turns. So we were just switching like every game, going first, going second, and stuff like that. But obviously, I think Zoro rather just go second against BY, just because everything is on the odd curves, which means that every time they play something that got 3 downs or whatsoever, if they are on 4 downs, then they keep that down open, right, to use the search event.
What's going on, Qatar?
Okay. So here,
whenever you want,
that
Qatar.
hand, I'm gonna keep this hand, just because I have the blocker Sabo and 2 searchers and a 2K. Usually I just hard mulligan for either rocket or blocker Sabo, and then depending on what else I have in hand, then I might keep or not, pretty much. Because we have the blocker Sabo and 2 searchers and a 2K, I'm like, yeah, let's just keep it. It's not that bad. I could be a little bit more greedy, but I still feel like searching is the key in this deck. That just gives you a better understanding on where you are in the deck as well. So like the ratios of what's left in the deck and what you've been through, pretty much. So here he plays the Dr. Kuroha, and then he found the chopper, the searcher chopper, which means that we know that the searcher chopper is coming, which is bad. Okay. So here I will probably just play Garp, I guess. This is the play that makes the most sense to me, just because Garp is an extra body, and against Zoro, even just a 2K body is good value. Okay, first search. Here, we can only grab Ace, and we take the information that we're gonna bottom deck 2 Morias.
That's crazy.
Which is pretty rough, right? It is really rough. Because Zoro losing the late game against BY straight up. So the hardest part in this matchup is gonna be the mid game, and it's pretty much the same against Blue Luffy, if we can say. It's like usually it's against those aggressive deck. The mid game is where everything is a little bit more sketchy, and you have to pay attention. Okay, so 2 Moria at the bottom. And then just for that reason, I'm just not gonna search one more time. I'm just gonna wait a little bit and see what's gonna be my next draw.
Okay, if it wasn't like that, then you would use the second search.
Yeah, depending on what I see on the first search, I could spam it. Like for example, if I would have seen like, I don't know, if I didn't see any Morias, then I don't mind keeping searching until I bottom deck 1, because at least I've been through 10 cards. And I know there is only 1 at the bottom, which means over like the remaining cards, I know there is still 3 Morias. So if I keep drawing and then searching and whatever, then I get a better understanding on where I am in the deck, pretty much.
Yep. Yeah, for those that don't know, this is Jay who's talking right now, our French brother here. You guys can do !! coaching in the chat and check out his coaching times. They said, do you recommend Ice Age and Kuzan at all in BY in this Dofi meta?
Kuzan for sure. Focus Kuzan for sure. To me, it's almost, it just became like mandatory, kind of. Just because even if you don't do any kind of removal through it, you just make value out of it. And this is really, really interesting. Because when you go second, this is also your best 4-down turn. And just the fact that you can make value out of that, if people try to starve you, then you're just in a good spot. You're just ahead. Because you will never lose any kind of card advantage. And you just keep making a lot of it. And this is good because this deck, the weakest point of this deck is that you're gonna run out of gas at some point. So if you have more resources, you just stay alive longer, right? So for Kuzan, definitely. Ice Edge, it depends. I guess depends if Bunny is gonna be played or not. Personally, Ice Edge never been really good towards me. I would say, like I keep running it, but I've never like really get the best of it. Like for example, in the finals in Paris, I think I used Ice Edge one time, and it was against a Katakuri, which means that it wasn't that much relevant, to be fair. And then all of the other matchups, then I didn't get it. I didn't see it. I mean, I was running as a one-off, but back then I was running two of those, and I couldn't see it whenever I needed it, pretty much. So I've never had like a good experience with Ice Edge, but on the paper, it's still a great card. Okay, so here he's on 3 downs, so we might expect the chopper, the Searcher chopper. But I don't remember what he does. He do here. Maybe I can just move it a little bit.
His coaching link's right there. It's Jay. It's the Calendly.
Yeah, okay.
Qatar.
So he's doing another search, and he's getting the search event, the one where he keeps one down open. He can just pretty much play something during your turn, which is where it gets really annoying. Okay, and then he swing 5 to me. All right. A lot of my students ask me like, how do I do against Zoro whenever they get aggressive? And you have different approach depending on your hand. And with my hand actually here, like most of the time people here, they will just counter just because they're afraid of Zoro being just too aggressive, right? But here I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna take it because now I know that there is 2 downs open. So what can he do with 2 down open pretty much? It's like he probably can do one more search and keep 1 down open if I swing at him so he can play something. Or he can play Makino and do another 5k to me. So here, just gonna take it. We get another 2k, which is good, but not really what we needed. And here comes Makino. Okay, and now we get another 5k swing. And here, one more time, if you tend to take the first one, people will just be like, okay, we have to defend the second one because it's just going too fast, right? We're only on the first turn, like, and we are down to 2 life if we take this. But I'm still gonna take this one. I'm still gonna take this one. Okay, so here I get a little bit lucky, and we got a rocket trigger, right?
Nice.
But no matter what, even if it wasn't a rocket trigger, it would have been the same. So we're gonna use it obviously, and we're gonna kill the active searcher. All right. Okay, so here we do another search, and this is why Garp was important because obviously I'm gonna take a little bit of time before swinging because I was considering the fact that if I should swing or not, just because I know he has the event. But there is just no way Makino can stay on the board, right? So I have to swing, and this is why Garp was just better than the event on the first turn, is because no Garp is just gonna put some value here. And we're gonna swing at Makino for sure. We cannot let Makino stay on board. There is no way. So no, even though he has the event, it's fine. We're just gonna kill the Makino.
I'll ask him afterwards.
We're just gonna acknowledge the fact that he's gonna play something during this turn, and maybe a little bit more aggressive on the next turn.
I'll ask him afterwards since this is for Zoro matchup.
Okay, so now he plays the chopper out of the event. So now I know that he has another chopper in hand, and he has this one. So far, so good for him. He's seeing pretty much what he is looking for. Okay, and now we're just gonna clear the board, but before that, we're gonna search. Okay, another search. Guess what? Another Moria. So from here, I know that I'm not gonna see Moria for the rest of the game. It's like the odds of me having Moria, they are really low. There is only one Moria left, and we only did 2 searches so far, which is terrible. So I know that my late game is gonna be really tough. But I have searchers. So from now on, I'm like, yeah, whatever. We're just gonna get them back. So we're just gonna dig for it. Okay. So here, because I already have the Sabo, I'm just gonna get the Fist Luffy. Because even though this is not the card that I'm looking for in this matchup, I already have the Sabo and I already have the Ace. And I don't need two blockers at this moment in the game, pretty much. I might need two blockers like in the late game, but for now, it's fine. So I might just go with the Fist Luffy because it might be helpful in some situation as well.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm right here, Shin. People think I'm gone. Oh, we got Ruben in here too.
Okay, and now we go with another search. And boom, we would have make 3 2Ks, which is terrible. Like, right now the deck is not going in our way, but it is fine. It's gonna go in our way. Don't worry about it. So here, obviously, we take the baby every day because we have the big ace and we need babies. Like, we don't have a single baby in our hand, which is terrible. And we've done so many searches so far. We've done 3 searches, and this is the first baby. Pretty rough. But we're gonna grab that baby. Okay. And now we understand that Zoro is being aggressive toward us, okay? So we're just gonna clear board. We're just gonna clear the search, and we're gonna play that baby because this is Dawn management. Those 2 dons left, I wouldn't have get any use this turn, so I'd rather just play a baby, so I could get two more dons on the very next turn. And this is how you make don management, and it's really helpful in a lot of matchups. Because I know Zoro doesn't have any kind of removals for that, and if he does, then he's not being aggressive, which is fine.
Dang, you didn't want to sing 7 into Koreha?
No, he's gonna let it go.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, I just should overkill it, you know. Okay, so now I know that he's gonna swing at me just because he's putting the Dawn on the Zoro, so I'm just gonna get swing at for sure. And here comes the second chopper. And then he's gonna get, let's see, because I don't remember the game. He's gonna get another chopper, the blocker one this time. So far so good for him. He's still at 5 life, two chopper searchers, getting the blockers. He's in a good spot, right? And then he's gonna swing with the other chopper and search even more. So from now on, I know that we're gonna have to start the engine pretty early, and we're just gonna keep taking the life. Yeah, let's go for it. We've been taking them so far, so let's just get them. You know, all right, we're gonna grab them. Okay. Then here he's still gonna swing at me, and the reason why he's gonna swing at me is because he understands that from this point, I will never make any card advantage, like any value. Like I won't be able to draw more than what I have in hand, which means that so far I have 4, 8, 9, and I'm gonna draw 10s. So I'm gonna have 10 cards to do the whole game pretty much, and I won't be able to get any more than a hand bigger than 10 cards. And he knows that. And with his deck, that's really valuable to know to do that, you know. All right. And we get another searcher. Okay. And from here we're just gonna start the engine because we have to, you know, otherwise we're dead. But
Dang,
there
you
is
just said it.
that,
You just said it as engine, not engine.
yeah, should I say engine?
Engine, brother.
I'm trying to correct myself, you know, so my English can get better. I don't have the opportunity to practice on a daily basis anymore, so you know. So here I'm gonna do something that people tend to forget a little bit. If Zoro rush you, if you rush you down really early in the game like that, and you don't have much downs, it works both ways. Which means that he doesn't have much downs neither. Which means that from here, if I put myself as a 9k leader, next turn he's gonna have what? 7 downs? What he's gonna do? Swing 12 at us, which is only 2 2Ks? Then yeah, for sure, just swing 12 at us. And that's something really interesting here, because from my hand right now and from my board, I'm gonna clear his board, put myself as a 9k leader without any blocker or any life remaining. And I'm gonna force him to just swing at me. Because if he do so, he's not gonna play anything on board, which means that the next turn we can stay as a 7k leader because he doesn't have anything else, anything left on board. And we can stay as a 7k leader, and eventually, if we draw Moria from here, then we have our late game, and we can start looping ourselves in a loop of us being a 9k leader, one life. So it's a little bit tricky, but you have to understand that you don't have much dons. He doesn't have much done neither, right? So for him to just swing 9 at you, it's gonna cost him 4 dons to just get 1 card out of your hand, which is not really worth it. But as I said, he understood that I'm not gonna make much value anymore. I'm not gonna draw and have more than 10 cards anymore. So he's trying to get as many cards as possible, so the late game would be fine for him. And that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm just staying as a 9k leader and without any life. And here we bottom deck the last Moria, which is terrible. Whenever I see that, I want to cry, to be fair, but it do be happening. So here I'm gonna grab a baby because we still have no babies, which is insane, but it do be happening. And in this list I was running Tenzan back then. Doesn't really matter, but we're gonna put
that never happens against me when I play against BY.
Yeah, true. But here there is no more Moria. How many search have we done? We've done 4 searches so far, which means that we've seen 16 cards in our deck. So it's still a little bit too early to take that in consideration, but we're gonna get there. And if even against aggressive decks such as Zoro, we might see our whole deck. And see, this is he took the bait. He's just swinging 12 at us, which is fine for me. I don't mind giving him 2/2Ks because I just have shit ton of them in my hand anyway, and it is fine because he's not playing anything on board. All right. And now we're down to 8 cards in hand. So this is really tough, but we have to manage. We have to make sure we stay alive until the end with those cards. So here, we're just gonna trash the Sabo because we had the Rocket Luffy from the very beginning. And then we're just gonna play Sabo because now that we know that he doesn't have anything on board, we can just play a blocker and just chill a little bit, you know? Because if he wants to pressure us, he needs to play a rush card. If he doesn't have a rush card, then we're fine. And on top of that, even though he has a rush card, we can just defend one swing and block the other one. Because us being a 7k leader is still good because he only has the 4k chopper on board. Okay, so here Sabo make us draw 2 really, really good cards. Guess what? 2 more searchers. So we're gonna just dig a little bit more.
Fucking damn. The greed. Fuck it.
We're just gonna, yeah, we know we don't have any more Moria, so let's just keep searching, you know? All right, and now we see all our babies, so we're just gonna keep grabbing babies, right? Because they are all here, because we haven't seen any of those so far.
Yo, relax, Qatar. I'll ask him after. Don't you know, in a masterclass, in a classroom setting, you don't interrupt the teacher like that, you know? You ask your questions later, or, you know, I see your questions, don't worry.
Yo, don't use the word masterclass anymore, otherwise I'm just...
Oh, I'm gonna make it big, bold letters on the thumbnail. It's gonna be known that it's a masterclass. It's part 2 masterclass.
It is not a masterclass. It's just my thought process against different leaders that we can cover on stream, you know. So yeah, so here we keep searching, and boom, we see more babies. But this is so sad because we keep bottom decking babies 2 by 2 pretty much. Here we see 2 Sabos at the same time, which is so annoying because we don't have Moria, so we need those babies, right? But it is fine. We're just gonna grab the Sabo obviously because this is the last one that is missing. All right, and then here I could do something a little bit more interesting, which is playing a baby just to save some extra dons, you know. But since we are in the late game, we will have extra dons anyway. And I might end up in a position where I might use one of those baby to just defend the swing pretty much. And because we only have 6 in hand, right now, I'd rather just be a little bit more cautious, and I'm not gonna play a baby here. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna play one, and I hope I'm not gonna play one. And yeah, we're just gonna swing 7 because his hand is pretty low and he's really healthy, so he's just gonna take it no matter what. And then we're gonna swing 9. And we're gonna keep those 2 done for the next game. That's pretty much what's gonna happen. I wish I had a third dawn that I could invest onto Garb, so I could swing 5 with Garb, but sadly, no. So I was thinking about playing a baby, but because I don't want to be caught off guard by Zoro, I just rather keep an extra 1k counter just in case he plays like more rush cards, like he could high roll as well. Okay, and so here it's a really important thing. This is the first time that we are hitting Zoro, and he's down to 3 life, which is really, really good, because if we keep grinding and digging into the deck, we might see the Moria, right? And Zoro being down to 3 life right now, and then us playing Moria really soon, is going to be really impactful. Okay, so how many search have we done so far? There is 28 cards left in the deck. We have 3 Garp on board, and I think we did 2 search events. No, we did 3 search events, which means that we've seen 6 searches, 30 cards, so 25 cards. There is 6 searches, 24 cards, 26 cards. Sorry, 26 cards. So there is only 2 cards left. No, wait, I'm miscalculating. How many searches have we done? We've done 5 or 6, which is 30. We took 1 in each. So 24 cards. Yeah, 24 cards. So in 4 cards, we're just gonna draw Moria pretty much. And what is 4 cards? 4 cards is just Rocket Luffy into Blocker Sabo. Rocket draw 1, Sabo draw 2. Next draw, Moria. And that's it. You've seen your whole deck. And Moria is just coming back right on time because we are running out of gas. And Moria is just gonna help us to sustain pretty much. So if we can handle it this turn by us being a 7k leader, then we're fine, because next turn we know we're gonna play 2 babies and we're gonna get up to a 9k leader. And then after that, he's not gonna be able to reach us anymore, except if he play a big body Rhino. But he can't. He's not gonna do it. So he's doing 7 at us. We give the big Luffy because we're not gonna need it, and we try to keep the baby as much as possible. Okay, now he's gonna swing 8 at us. And from here, I was considering about keeping the Sabo because, as I said earlier, we didn't need 2 Sabos back then, but now we might start needing 2 Sabos, right? It's not mandatory, but having 2 blockers is still good. So I was considering about giving a card or just giving the Sabo, because right now our hand is really valuable. We only have 5. And as I keep saying, we're not gonna make more than that pretty much. We keep losing card every turn. That's what has been happening so far, and this is the normal process of BY. So here I was considering, like, should I give him a 2k right now? Should I block? But then I look at his dawn and I'm like, 4 dawns remaining. What's gonna do? Play Zoro and swing 7? Doesn't make sense. He would have done that before. Swing 7 with the leader and then 8 with Zoro, which means that there is one option left. Kid Killer. It's gonna swing another 8.
Okay.
So either way, I'm just gonna defend 1 and block the other 1, I guess. Because I don't want to give him like my whole hand. I need to keep some card advantage as well, So I might defend this 1 or block it, whatever. But the odds of him playing Kid and Killer here, they're pretty high. Because in terms of how to swing, it doesn't make sense to swing 7, 8, 7. You just do 7, 7, 8 rather than the opposite.
And then if let's say he swung out your ace instead, would you defend it or let the ace go? Just let it go?
Yes, just let it go.
Okay.
It is fine.
Yeah.
Because we're just gonna get him slowly but surely. Like, keep in mind that we're gonna elevate ourselves as a 9k leader next turn. This is our plan so far. This is the plan. Elevate ourselves as a 9k leader, and then draw Moria, and boom, sustain 9k, and then draw another Moria, etc., etc. So since we know that we're gonna be a 9k leader, we're gonna swing 11 at him. He's gonna get down to 2 life, etc., etc. So pretty much, him being down to 2 life before Moria going on the board is so bad, because after that Moria is gonna swing at him, and it's gonna get even harder for him to defend. So the lower we put him before Moria, the better it is. And it works against every leader. Against Lucci is the same. Lucci down to 2 life before we put a Moria. Damn, that's rough. And now, let's see what he does. Right, and here comes the Kid and Killer. And he knows he has to be aggressive. He needs to keep getting my hand, right? So here I give the blocker, because I don't want to give him my hand. And we're going to another baby, but from this point, it doesn't change much. Okay, so now we're going to do something a little bit funny. We know we have to use the babies, right? Which means that to start a whole engine, we need to use 6 done. 2 under the leaders, 4 for the babies. This is a whole engine. Leader 9k, that's how it works, 6 dons. Which means that we have 4 dons remaining. And we have nothing to do with those 4 dons remaining, right? But we have Garp on board. And it's gonna be a little bit funny. Because here, I'm just gonna let him think that I'm being pressured, and I want to get rid of everything on the board. And obviously, Rocket Luffy is gonna kill the Kid and Killer, and we're just gonna try to kill the Chopper, but just with the Garp, because we have extra done to invest. And we just swing 4. Then he defend. He gave us a 1k counter. We got 1 card out of the hand, and it's a blocker on top of that, which is nice. So here, I think it's a mistake from his side, from giving his hand Rhino. But he might think that at this point, I didn't have any more gas or any more babies to just sustain myself as a 9k leader. So that's why I think he value his board to make sure that he can keep getting cards out of our hand. All right, and we go again, because we know that we only need 6 done this turn. And we get another card, another blocker, which is good. Then now we go 7. And I'm like, okay, let's see if you keep defending. And this here it surprised me, but I think if I remember, he does defend it.
Dang, that's crazy if he defends it.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. But I think he might think that we don't have anything like to just, keep elevating ourselves and keep being as a 9k leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it's a mistake.
Counters.
But he counters, yeah. And from here, the job is done. He doesn't have any more cards in hand, and we really don't care about that Chopper, because next turn we're gonna be a 9k leader, and this Chopper is never gonna reach us. So we're just gonna go face now. And we're gonna rocket the Kid Killer, draw a card, boom, and then use leader ability, put back Rocket, because we know that the next turn is Moria, which means that we're gonna do Moria into Rocket into a Sabo blocker, for example. Because just in case he play a blocker, then we know that Rocket is just gonna KO the blocker if he plays down 1, right? All right. And there you go. And now we're down to 3 cards in hand, which is fine, because he still doesn't have anything on board. We have 1 blocker, and we know that the next draw is going to be Moria.
For sure,
and now we just ignore the Chopper, because we really don't care about that Chopper.
For sure it's going to be Moria?
Yep. We did the math right. So it should be Moria.
Imagine it's not Moria, chat. Imagine
if it's not Moria, then I'm dead. I'm dead if it's not Moria. Okay. I think he takes a little bit of... No, okay, he plays Nami here, okay. So here he plays Nami, And let's see what he gets. What would be really annoying for us if it's to get the Rush Luffy. Okay, so he get another chopper, EBO1. EBO1 is the blocker one. So he get the chopper, the another chopper blocker, which is good because we know that our next life is gonna be Rocket. Then we can pop the blocker if he plays down one, right? Okay.
Dude, I just realized your sim is like half alt arts. What is this?
What do you mean half alt art?
Like you have no alt art leaders and you don't have alt art like Rocket Luffy, but you
Nah,
have
because I don't know. It's just like I think I like.
it's so random. Like I just see that Nami come out. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I think back then I started just like putting some art out, and then after that I got lazy. And to be fair, I don't pimp my deck that much. So you might see some cards that are a little bit pimped, like the Sabo, like the blocker Sabo,
Yeah.
but like not all of them. Okay, let's see. Let's see what he's gonna do. So keep in mind, guys, by the way, we only had 10 cards, right? Okay, so here is swing at the ace. We just let it go. We don't care because next turn, Moria. So ace here, we don't care anymore. Just have it. It is fine. This is not the card that's gonna pressure him. So it's okay. So keep in mind that when we started the engine the first time, we only had 10 in hand, and we had to do the whole game with those 10 cards. But as I said in the beginning, key cards, Rocket, Sabo, key cards. You minimize the lose of your card advantage. And here he does another Nami, and he find the Rush Luffy. So here I was like, ah, shit. If he play the Rush Luffy to just like prevent for the next turn, it might be annoying.
Which is something that he definitely could do right now. He could definitely play it down.
He can use 5 Dawn to just play it down. So
Yeah.
that way next turn he can invest a lot of Dawn. So even though we are in a loop of 1 life, if he has Jable Jambe in his hand, he has 2 swings unblockable, which can be annoying because we don't have much cards left in our hand. Okay, now he starts swinging at the Garp. I think he didn't like our Garps, and they did the job pretty well. They help us to get back our Morias, and they help us to just, get a little bit of his hand. And here he plays Zoro, and then he keeps going after the Garp. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Just get the Garp. But here, it's a really good thing, because now we kept one of our blocker on board, which means that next turn, we can play another blocker. So even though if he has some rush cards, it's not gonna threat us. And what do we draw? Boom! Our first Moria that we bottom deck. And then we know that the next draw is gonna be Moria. And if I recall, the next draw is gonna be Kuzan, and then Ace, and something like that. I don't remember, but I think it was something like that. So we'll see. So next draw is gonna be Moria, which means that we already know what we're gonna do next turn as well. So here Rocket's gonna kill the blocker as planned. And then we draw the Moria as planned, and then now we can trash a baby because we don't need the babies anymore. We're gonna use the Morias, right? And now I was trying to calculate a little bit if he could go for lethal if we keep the Moria in hand, because we only have 1 2k and 1k. But there is no way he can get us. So I'm gonna trash a baby from here. And I might trash the baby Sabo, just because having the baby ace can give us an extra swing for later on, pretty much. And we're just gonna put back a Rocket at the bottom and a Sabo on top, because we know that Rocket is just the best thing ever. And then, okay, it was a search and a Kuzan, not an ace. So it was a search and a Kuzan, okay. So we're just gonna trash them because we don't need to search anymore, and we don't need Kuzan. All right, and now we go just 11 face. And now he's down to 1 life with only 5 cards in hand. But from here, it's already over. Like, there is no way Zoro can recover. But one thing that is really interesting here is the search. This is something that I like to point it out because I keep telling people consistency is the key. 8 searches is insane. Even against aggressive deck, you can see your whole deck. And we just did it, pretty much. We just did it. And even though you didn't see the Moria, then it's fine, because if you don't see Moria, you see the babies. If you don't see the baby, then you see the searchers. You always see one of those. And he just can't see it because he knows. He knows that there is no point, and he's not gonna be able to recover out of that.
Okay. Interesting. What about double Diable?
Even with double Diable, he can do 10-10. We take one and we counter one.
Yeah. Okay. Dang.
Or 10-11? Yeah, 10-11.
Dang.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, there you guys go. All right. Just a little glimpse at a free masterclass, the best free masterclass that you can get out there. Okay. Qatar here says that they have an important tournament tomorrow. Lots of BY Luffy's. Is there he's playing ST14 Luffy. Can you ask him if I can beat BY with ST14 Luffy? Like, what kind of question is that, dude? Like,
if there is one deck that can beat BY, like one black deck that can beat BY, it's probably ST14. That's the best deck in our format at the moment that can beat BY. He's the one that has the most answers to it.
Like I feel like that question is just like a bait question to try and hype them up. You know, to give them some kind of confidence that they might be lacking.
You think so?
He wanted you to tell him, like, yeah, dude, you got this. All right, you got this, dude. Oh my god. What are your thoughts on 7 searchers over 8 to tech in the Kuzan and Ice Age at 2 apiece?
No, I think 8 searchers is just way too good. You need to see your pieces, and you need to take the knowledge of your deck to understand where you are in your deck. You need to search. You need to just make it run. This is how it works. And once you understand that, then a lot of things are gonna make sense, and you're gonna see the cards whenever you're gonna need them, pretty much. See, this game, for example, is one of the best example. Did you see how the deck literally shit on us? Like, we bottom deck 4 Morias and we bottom deck shit ton of 2K, which is like so bad, right? And we struggle to see our babies, but because we run 8 searchers, we managed to just get there. And that's why I feel like 8 searchers is just too good. 7 searchers is not horrible, right? Don't get me wrong. It's just that I value consistency more than anything else. This is the key of this deck. If you don't see what you're looking for, how you gonna sustain yourself? How you gonna elevate yourself? Or how you gonna just make it run? You're just gonna spend like one turn doing like a random play just because you didn't max out some things that is pretty much like the basic of the deck. And I feel bad about it. I used to run 7 searchers, but since I understood that mechanic of just seeing my whole deck and making sure that I see my pieces, then no, I just don't want ever to go back on less than 8. And you have 6 slots to take whatever you want, and I feel it's just enough. We don't need Tenzan anymore in the meta, just because Blue Doffy is coming, so we're not gonna need Tenzan because of Blue Doffy. We're not gonna need it in Pluffy never. It's only relevant against Bonnie, and Bonnie might not do so well anymore in the meta because Blue Doffy is coming as well. And I don't know how Bonnie is doing against Pluffy, but on the paper doesn't look like it's like super easy for Bonnie neither. So I don't need to take Tenzan anymore for that. Ice Edge can still put some work here and there for sure. On the paper is great. It's just that I didn't see success with it, so I just cut it down. Like right now I'm not running Ice Edge anymore. And I didn't get the best out of it, I would say. The best card at the moment that you could take are Ace, Makinos, Yellow Sabo, what else? Eventually Shigan, Ice Edge, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And Focus Kuzan is, I don't consider it as a tech anymore because, as I said, even though you don't make any value out of Focus, like any kind of removal out of Focus Kuzan, you do the value out of it. So
Yep. This is Jay right now, Unpro. You can do !Mark coaching to see more info about it. He has probably one of the most affordable coachings out there, and he's a BY expert all the way from France. And if you could add, okay, have you seen the list with the 4 Tempest kicks? 4, I still have my crew, and 1 Sunny stage to draw a bunch.
That's interesting. I understand why someone would make a list like that. To be fair, especially because the leader is a straw hat, since it's Luffy, which means that you get the draw out of the stage. But I don't know if I would value Tempest Kick and the stage more than the card that I just talk about, like Shigan, Sabo, Makino, or Ace, or even Ice Edge. I don't know if I will value those more than those one. Because Tempest does -3, but you don't have anything in range with -3, like out of Rocket. I mean, out of Yellow Sabo for sure, but not out of Rocket. I don't know. It could be interesting, but I don't see it as something that just talk to me too much. I would say, because like other than that, they're just bricks. So like if you don't, and you have only small timing to use those. Because like for example, if we take the mirror match on the late game, usually we play Moria, and then if we don't play Moria, we use the remaining don to just swing bigger. So if you use those 1 dons here and there to just draw or whatever, that's when you're losing some power of swinging. And I think there's a lot of matchups like this.
Yeah, I think we need to do a money match. All right, between Linda and Jay.
A money match? What the fuck? I don't do that.
our resident Zoro goat, one of Noel's proteges, versus our resident BY goat here for uncut sheet. Huh? What do you guys think? What do you guys think, chat?
You want my uncut sheet? No.
Oh man, Linda thinks harder to play against Lucci than to play against BY as Zoro.
Oh yeah, I feel her. I think it's harder to play against Lucci than BY for her. Just because of 4 cost Lucci, obviously, and 3 cost Brook, depending on the list. And even Jack, like everything is just horrible for her into Lucci. Like there is removal every turn. 1 by 1, 2 by 2 is just too much.
Thunderbolt Sabo and 8.5.
Yeah, Yellow Sabo is still great. So as I said, Yellow Sabo is really good in the mid game, and Shigan might be better in the late game because Shigan only costs 4. And as I said earlier, to start a whole engine, you need 6. 2 for the leader, 4 for the babies, which means you have 4 dons remaining, which Shigan can fit perfectly. So you get the best out of your 10 don. And if you have Kuzan on board, then you can just swing 5 with Kuzan, -4, and then kill something that costs 5 or less, which means that you can reach any 9 cost pretty much.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to do some coaching, get some coaching from Jay, some more insight, that's only just the tip of the iceberg, all right? There's so much more information in BY, not only just in this matchup, but also in all other matchups for BY that you guys can get from Jay here. And we have some people vouching for him as well in the chat who have gotten coaching. So !mark coaching, and to see more info on that, you guys. But thank you, Jay, for that.
No worries. Always happy to just show a little bit more insight of BY.
Yes, and I'm curious to see what the YouTube comments will say once I release this video.
I mean, last time on the YouTube comments, someone asked for the red matchups, and that's pretty much why we did that today as well. Because I know some of my students were struggling a little bit against Zoro as well. And now they're struggling against Luffy. But it's just the time for her for them to get use of that, to have the knowledge. And it is a deck of knowledge. And the more knowledge you have, and the better understanding you have, and the more edgy you can play and understand the line of everything that you do.
I mean, bro, people are already asking. It's not even hit YouTube yet. It hasn't even hit the YouTube VOD yet. And people are asking deck list.
This deck list is bad. This deck list is terrible. I was running like 2/2 of the ace and one Kuzan, one Tenzan, I mean. And I don't even know what was the last tech card, but the list is not up to date.
You got to sign up for coaching to get the up-to-date list, you guys. Sign up for coaching.
All right, that is the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed it, please consider subscribing, dropping a like, and commenting down below. It would really mean a lot. You guys can catch the shenanigans live on twitch.tv/Mr_Voodoo almost daily. And as always, good luck on your guys' pools. Let me know what you got in the comments down below, and stay winning.